It's rolling. Ooh, hello. I'm really excited about this picture right here. I found this on Etsy. Well, at first I found it on Pinterest, and I tracked it down to Etsy. And I purchased it from Nordic Digital Arts. They're on Etsy. It's like $2 for the one image, but I think it is an awesome image and definitely worth it to me. I've printed out several different ways, and I wanted to go over, kind of like wrap up a lot of the basic stuff that we've done and apply those skills here. So I'm just going to be coloring. I think the main thing to pull away from this video, if you're already been following along and you're kind of like, oh, another one of these. What I want to try to emphasize is that when you see a picture like this in all these dark areas, and how to approach, because it can be intimidating. It's like, what do you do? It's already blacked out so much. What can I do? Well, if you look back on our learning, we learned about the chroma, and we almost have to look at that dark area as another color, whatever you're using, probably in your brightest area, and come in and bring that color into this dark area and follow the patterns that you see with the hair and stuff like that. What you'll end up with pulling off is you'll go into these dark areas and you'll add, something that's very desaturated. This is that bright color. I think it's sand, the color sand, Prismacolor sand. So I just went in there with this fairly bright color and just went in and touched into there this pattern that I seen here, and I went into the shadows there, and that allows you to pull up a lot of that color closer to you, like it's more of the image, like there's not a pit in the back of their head. This is a little closer view of it. You're not seeing that, but just that dark area. You can come in and pull this pencil through and just follow the patterns that you see here, just same type of lines that they're using, and pull that color, see, up into there. Same as in the ear and stuff like that. You can pull that brightest color into that darkest area, and it'll desaturate it down enough, the chroma, but you'll pick up just enough to bring it up into your image. So I was going to work on this right here, and I'm just going to run through all the basic stuff, and you can follow along or scoot around forward, backwards, whatever, it don't matter, it's up to you. I'm going to do my part on this end, and you do what you need to do on your end. Again, I kind of went back to this manual pencil sharpener, because I really been enjoying having this super tip on there. But I'm just gonna find a point and start pulling this skin tone's yellow. I'm sorry, orange. Oh, I already got a dot on there. See, I did the last one, and I did it there, and this one here's got one there. I just printed this out, and I wash my hands and handle it. So we're gonna have to deal with that dot just sitting there looking at us the whole time. Always something. So I'm just glazing in this orange into our image. And this isn't the only image that he has, of course. He's got other ones. This is when I kind of started working on here. So I kind of messed around, playing around with it. And I did another kind of a study with that picture. I've been really working on my, trying to get my metals correct. And I'm not there yet. I got a long ways to go. But I'm just kind of starting to playing with different colors in there and stuff like that. And, it's a learning process. You gotta You know, fight one battle at a time. But the nice thing is, you know, I know where my plateau is, and I can come here with a lot of confidence and you know, build up skin tones and things like that. And you build that up over time. Just practicing. Just remember, you know, progress isn't pretty. Sometimes you got to mess up some things to get where you're going. So we're just gonna pull this orange through and right on up into that hair. Get it up in there. There's some scalp I want to pull out. You know, just make our head a little bit bigger than it is. There we go. Get some colors up in there. Is there any place? I don't see any. It's pretty tightly packed with hair. So we just run this out. And you know, we're looking at our lighting too as we come across here. There's a nice sharp line of light hitting right, coming in right there. Light's coming in, light's coming in. You see the shadow there. Got that on the other side really light. And when you run into these situations like this right here where you got that really bright area, just run, put you some color right out, you know, close to the edge of that, and you'll be fine. You know, just let me see if I did it here. Yeah, I did some of that. So you can see see how I just glazed that color. And man, I got a dot there and there. I just glazed that color through there. But yeah, I could ruin a picture quick. But that's all right. It's all just practice, right? So I'm just pulling orange. Just everything's getting this, right? I don't care. We'll run right up into that hair, right up from on there. There, we want to pull out some. Push this color on up in that dark area. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about any anomalies like blood or anything else like that. At this point, you're trying to get this down, and it's going to look really orange at first. But if you take orange and you add white to it, you desaturate it down, and it becomes that peachy color. If you add black to it, you desaturate that chroma again, and you push it to a brown. So, and I don't mean like brown like the dirt. You can get it there if you really push a lot of black into it, but if you're cool with it, you'll push it to a nice dark skin tone. So think of browns and orange in the same, they're the same. Just call them the same color. Any color that you don't see, you know, on your basic color wheel, you know, you don't see those browns and stuff on a color wheel. They're not represented unless you do that little twisty thing and you add black to a color. Then you'll start seeing where the browns are hiding. Same as you see where all the peach and the skin tones are hiding if you add white to the color. So if you're gonna do like, let's say you were gonna do this like blue. Say it was I don't know, some blue elf or something like that, you know. Then you'd want to look at, okay, well I want blue. I want to use blue, but where do I find, you know, the skin tones and stuff like that I could use, because you need those variations. Number one, like I'm doing here, is just going light over this. I automatically add white, and over in the darker areas I automatically add brown. So once you got that figured out, you know, say you're going to do that blue, then see what black looks like added to it. What does white look like added to it? So there's your range of a nice skin tone. And then also you're going to want to go and find what is the complementary color to that blue, which would be this orange right here. So then you'd want to add that orange, see how that looks in the shadows and different areas and stuff like that. You know, how does it work with that blue? And same as how does blue work with this orange that I'm using here. You know, I use it in the shadows. Blue's a cool color, so you got that to think of too. So then you're going to be adding orange, which is a very warm color. So you'll want to know, you know, where do I want to add this? Where do I want to warm the picture up? Same here. Where do I want to cool this picture down? They're opposites, you know. So where do I want to cool this down? I probably want to cool it down in the shadows, right? Cool colors push things away from you. Warm colors bring them right up to you. Let me see. So right now, this skin tone's working out. Now it doesn't look as orange, does it? I got that peachy look going. There we go. So we got that right there. I don't see any other skin tones I need to worry about. So then we'll do that trick here with our blue. Now this is non-photo blue. I think I want to use my electric blue, which is my favorite one. Nice tip on there. So now I'm going to come into my shadows. Those dark shadows there. Just go ahead and run some blues anywhere I want to kind of push back on that orange. Just kind of see there, just tone that down. There. Yeah. A few spots here. If I cool that down enough, I can really come in there with that orange, push into that shadow if I want to. Cool. I want to look at some areas where that light's coming in. If you want something to pop, and it's kind of cool to come in with a cool color, like maybe this area here, you know, come in there around it, tone that all down with a nice cool color right there. That'll make this area stand out a little better, you know, if you want to kind of adjust the focus into an area. I got kind of cooled down. Everything's kind of now put in this place. A little too orange right here. And skim it with some blues there. Let's cool that off right there. There we go. So far we haven't really done anything difficult, you know. So let's go into these eyes. I'm gonna do the blue eyes. I think they look pretty cool. Now, same theory. I'm going to take the lightest blue I can because I want to kind of brighten this up just a little bit. So there we go. I'm kind of pressing a little harder, you know. Just trying to get a good mix. There we go. Push this light color up into that pupil there and over here. This is going to be all shadowed out a little bit more over there, but got that done. Now I'll take my electric blue, kind of just get in there with that in a few spots, you know. Don't do the whole thing. There we go. So I like that. So now I can take my white and I can go in there. Nip that little tip, make it sharp. There we go. Go in there with that white and push like that. So some of the areas that are really bright, go ahead and don't shy away from some of the darker areas either. There we go. Now if I want to lighten it up some more, go right into that blue I put around the edge. I can lighten that up some. We're just adjusting that chroma, taking it back, letting a little bit more light hit that area, right? Yeah, something like that looks good to me. I'm gonna hit that right there. Brush a little bit of white right there. Way out at that edge. There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna go in and start cooling down some areas. Get this tip right. Taking the cyan into it. It's super sharp. Push a little bit of that blue into there. To the kind of the shadowy areas. There we go. There we go. I'll push that white back over to it. There we go. Push it down a little bit. There we go. Looks like a little spot in the eye that's in the print. So we just let it be what it is. So let's grab a red, which is going to be pink. Plus we're just going to give it just a little spot here, you know. I'm just going to brush it. There we go. There we go. Catch that little thing right there. Here you go. A little red, but that's okay. This is where you can do a few details. You can pop a little red, little dots right along that edge right there. It gives it a little bit of something, you know. So let's do the lips. Hey, we got red. Let's go. Let's roll. I'm just going to trace out some of the darker areas. Now red, when you add black to it, it starts to lean to that sepia. So that's the color sitting out over that red that you don't see on your color wheel a lot. You know, unless you dial in the black and see what red does. It goes to a color called sepia. Start pushing a little bit. As soon as it starts turning like red, because I don't want to look like she's got makeup on, really. But as soon as it starts turning that red, because right here I'm getting that, I'll get like a sepia kind of a look because I'm in that black. But at some point you're going to put too much pencil in there, and then it's going to look red. There we go. A little bit more. Got a little red on me, so it's okay. I can knock it back. I can go ahead and find a really dark red that I already have out. And this is that K-Put Mortium. So I can take it and just get anything that looks, you know, red. That's a really dark color. And you can push that in there. Or you could use black, but I kind of shy away from the black on lips. Maybe that line right there, because it can go bad real quick. Same as the reason I don't like doing pictures like this that have the teeth showing, you know, when they're smiling or something. Oh man. Unless it's like a zombie or something, you don't really care. Then you can foul them up, and it don't matter. There we go. It's a little too red right in there. We'll catch that on the flip side when we're doing the skin tone. We'll address that with red. So obviously she's got some dings. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna touch and pull. a lot of this is dirt, mud, things like that, you know, mixed in with the blood. I'm just gonna find some areas for this to hide. So let's say you're doing a picture that's grayscale, but it's not as dark as this. This is a very dark grayscale. It is very dark. It's got a lot of black in it. So when you're approaching this, don't think of this so much as that red, you know. You know where you're going with it. You know what these colors do together, right? You know it's going to go into sepia or the Caput mortuum or something like that. So just let that happen. Let that. Don't try to fake blood. It'll stand out too much. Like some of these areas, even in this picture, it's a little not real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your mind's eye is gonna fix a lot of that in your head. You know, it's when you take a picture like this right here and you turn it upside down and you turn off that left side of your brain, and then you really look at it and you're like, oh man, that's way too bright, or I went too red on the lips, you know, things like that. You know, things like that will kind of stand out for you. So, and we're just creeping up on these colors. You know, we did our orange, we did our eyes with some blue and white. We got the lips. Now we're just kind of, you know, creeping into this area, staying in the dark areas here. You know, just sneaking up on this picture. She's got a wound right there. And another thing is picking out what is something. This is all dark, but what is it? It's going to be mud and blood, let's say. It's going to be all that. So we can go ahead and start just touching it in. Not making any huge statement, you know. We're not coming in and saying, oh, this is blood, you know, or anything like that. We're teasing it, you know. It's like, okay, your blood here, just take this little touch of red from now. Just right now. You're just gonna be that. That way I can analyze and look at this a little bit better, you know, on my end. I can say, okay. Because you may find out that, oh, that wasn't a piece of hair, that was actually her earlobe, you know, whatever, you know. But if you're playing with it and you just kind of sneaking in there, you'll see that, man, that I don't even know if I need to do anymore, you know. You'll find spots that was just enough. It was enough to do what you were trying to do, you know. So we're just gonna touch on a few of these spots here. I'm looking for things that look like little rivers, you know. Anything that looks like a flood, like the blood could be flowing along it, like where this is protruding out, you know. If blood run down, it's not just going to keep running straight down. It's going to hit this area and kind of move just a little, you know, something like that, you know. And just things to think about while you're moving through this image. And that's the way I look at it. That's why I work so loose and get around everything, you know. I just let it slowly kind of build up. I'm not trying to impress anybody, or I'm not on a schedule. This is my time to enjoy, you know, what I'm doing. I don't really care so much about it. I do, but you know what I'm saying. I don't care so much about the end results as I do what I'm doing here. And I got like a little box in my brain that is all the stuff that I have a question mark on. How should I do this, you know? And I may practice it here, but I keep that question mark going in my head, so that now next time I go to practice or something, I'm like, okay, same as I'm doing with these with the metals on this image here. You know, I got a huge question, a box with a big question mark, like how to make this, and I'm going for that bronze look. And I did play with the gold a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe that, and maybe it is working in some of these areas. So that's not gold; it's actually just yellow. And this is that Caput mortuum in here. So I'm playing around with it. You know, I'm touching here, touching over here. Add that yellow over there. touch it with this, maybe run black through it. What does it look like with brown? You know, it's like, oh wait, I think I got it. And once you get it, then you can, now how does light affect what you did? So in the light areas, you may not be able to do it the same way you did, let's say over here. You know, it's a total different school. You know, you're in the brights. So it's trying to get all those, you know, all those things in its place, so that now when I pick up a pencil, like skin tone and blood and stuff like that, I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna get, you know, that end result. But I'm pretty confident right now as what I'm doing at the moment. I feel good. It's comfortable. It's relaxing. You know, start getting them endorphins kicking off just by, you know, getting the art. You know, I feel like you're accomplishing something. And that's where the therapy part, I think, comes in for coloring. I think it's an awesome way to just chill and relax. I notice that when I'm here talking and thinking, that it cuts off, I guess, that part of my brain that lets me just fall into an image and work it. So that's one of the reasons I pause a lot when I'm trying to explain something. It's like, hold on, I gotta use the other side of my brain that doesn't do this function. Alright, so I've got some out there. Now we're going to move away from, let's say, blood, and we're still going to use the same pencil, but we're going to work on the skin tone a little bit, because there's some areas where there's more blood at the surface, you know. So we're going to find a couple of those areas here, and we're going to let that blood come to the surface as it would on a person. And by using this red and going lightly like this right here, I should get like a nice pinky color, you know, like pink. And there's blood. But I should be able to pull some of this red into there. And I'm thinking skin tone, not, well, that was blood right there. But I'm thinking more of the skin tone, you know, what it's doing. Just finding some of these areas. And when I'm going like this right here, I don't, like, I'm moving through this, but I can't stop this. This has to be there. It's part of the process. Just the same as in these areas here, you know, there has to be some skin tone. Yeah, we know it's something else, but you know, it's these skin tones have got to be in that too, you know. So don't worry about it and just pull it right on through, because whatever this is doing, that's not going to affect it. This is either light or something like that. And we'll let the grayscale work it out through this darker area. There. Put like some lifeblood in her, you know. I'm gonna push this out, and I'm not worried too much about it falling out in that light area. I'll push right up to the edge of that bright spot there. I'm just gonna add this red all the way through in here. There we go. So it will start to look a little more human. Add a little bit up here. There we go. I'm not even worried about a lot of stuff. I'm not worried about, oh, I've got the color of blood, I got the color of this scar, I just remove that pencil through there. Say, hey, you have to handle that, but I'm going to be right here. This red's going to be right here. No matter what I'm going to try to get away from and do, it's going to be there. So I better learn to deal with it, right? Push that color on in there. The bottom of that lobe right there. I always get that because I always think of like blood pooling under the skin right there, you know? A lot of these areas. You can even pull across some of those lighter areas to show like some little capillaries and things like that. There we go. Another thing, I let this hair control my image a little bit. I don't want it to. I don't care if I get orange on the hair. That's a problem for future me. Pull a little bit more color into here. Pull this up. Got a little orange, so we'll knock it back. It's in the dark. Knock that orange out of there. Got a little orange right there. There we go. Do that. You can do that. Just take this blue around anywhere you went too crazy with the orange. Push it somewhere. You can't stay here. I don't know where you're going. All right. So now I'm going to push a little bit of this orange up. Up into here, like that. Up into there. Put a little color. It's going to be a very brownish coloring. There we go. All right, we're going to push it in there. And nothing really want orange, but, you know, cool it off a little. Pull that blue right across that, yeah. Pushing them shadows, shade it out, you know. Pull that blue. There we go. So we got that. Let's pull some more of this blue across here. I'm gonna use this blue to form things like this right here is gonna come in and come up and around. So I wanna knock this back. You know what I'm saying? Create that illusion. There. It's like we used it down here to create that form. So that's enough for the skin tone. There's more to be done, of course. You know, you can actually go into your traditional skin tones, like your light peach and stuff like that. Just be careful, because when this light peach runs across orange, it really picks up. It boosts the chroma of that orange, and it's really hard to knock back. So I usually try to grab this pencil here, which is the peach. Come in here just to give some, because you take this peach and now you went orange, remember you went over white and it looked peach. So if you take the peach and go over the white, it's gonna, see there? It's gonna help you out. You can get into some of these areas that are super, super bright and maybe don't belong there, but you don't really want to put orange on there. You know? Some of these areas around this where it's too light, there's too much white. We really want to form this skin. Cool thing about this is you can press. So you take this bright color, and let's say we press it right there. So you can form some more of this eye out. Use it right along that edge right there. You can press it in and really put some tone. see there we're lifting that. Instead of using the orange and taking it to a brown, we're kind of lifting the chroma up with this color here. You can also use white. Just pull it out lightly, keep that form that's going up to that cheek, and then stopping and pushing back. Yeah. That's probably work really good in that dark up there. Put some of that closer to you. Gives more depth, more more depth to an image if you can do that. Some of that. The chroma picked up way too high right there. Just gonna knock it back a little bit more. Get back. There we go. Back in this place. Yeah, maybe a little bit darker. We'll get there. We'll worry about that later. So let's do the hair color, and I can get into actually what I was kind of wanting to go over. All right. So let's just pick a spot for right now. Let's work. I like to work close to the image, to the focal point. You know, work close in there, because you're not fatigued. If you're doing clothing and things like that, it gets really. You get fatigued, and you have to. If you're gonna, you either have to get up and walk away, or you're gonna have to realize that everything. You know, once you've sat here and said, okay, I'm gonna do every one of these hairs right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go into that dark area and pull some more image up. You know, oh yeah, and then 15 minutes later you're going, you know, like screw this. I'm just gonna get this in here. My advice is just kind of work close to your focal point, because human nature is going to take over eventually, and it happens to me. It happens, I'm pretty sure, to everybody. And what I'm doing is I'm going along these edges right here in the dark. They're just totally blacked out, and I'm just picking up the chroma a little bit there. That gives me more form. I just don't want to leave the image, you know, this one's not finished yet, but I don't want to leave any dark areas like that black. It doesn't need to be there. There can be something, part of the hair is still going to get some color. I mean, I don't know of any ailment to the eyes that, you know, you just don't see up into areas like that. So put something back there. Sometimes it don't even matter what you're doing. Just get close to that dark spot on those ears. Bring that out a little bit. You know, that's basically what it is. But the problem is that fatigue sets in, and you're like, okay, I'm fixing a pencil with this picture. So get along your edge or your image here and just start bringing out all that black. Doesn't need to be black, it's grayscale, and you're converting it over to color, so you need to push into some of these darker areas like this right here and add that color in there. And you may go too far and bring up that chroma too high and it's just too bright to be in where it's at. You just go back with your black or something like that and tone it, you know, tame it, you know, tone it back down. So I'm just going to work here now. It's simply, I'm going to push up to that light up there, catch all these little bit brighter areas here. Just push up into there. So I mean, let me just work all this over here. Push into that dark spot. Don't let it be black. There. Unless it needs to be, you know. Now you can just come in and start pushing these areas. Dark, dark, dark. Get that in there, brighten it up. Push close to the edges out over here. Maybe at the high points, just leave it totally alone. Good. And it's funny that I don't think, I may be wrong, but I don't think the guy who made this expected, or he didn't know he was making a color page. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he knows about the community or anything like that, but you know, if someone can put out images like this right here, I would definitely support, you know, their efforts, because this is what we need. I don't get hung up on AI and all that stuff. I don't, you know, if I want to color, I want to color. I don't care at all. Good artists are getting paid. They're gonna make their money. They're gonna be all right. See, I started pencil whipping. You catch me? It's gonna happen. I should stay. Let me refocus. Get in here and start doing what I said I was gonna do at the beginning of the video, and start making these dark, dark lines into hair. Just pulling some lines into that dark area there. There we go. It's gonna brighten up as you. It will come back with the white pencil and kind of church it up in the areas that they see how dark that is. It doesn't need to be that dark. I want something there. Got these hairs just popping out of nowhere, you know. Give it some structure and all that good stuff back there. Get up into them areas. There you go. Pulling this. And I'm just kind of going with the flow of what's there already. I'm not trying to really redraw anything, but if you if you get out over, you know, pull something, oops, it's still gonna work. Matter of fact, I think it looked pretty cool. So caught some light. There we go. I'll just kind of follow the direction here. Keep pulling and pulling. There we go. Then you can see all this dark area up here. You know the hair is coming down, so just keep it going. Get up in here, there'll be a brighter look up here, and then all these lighter areas. Just kind of following what's going on. So this here's going this way. This is coming up and around. So let's say that's there. I see some hairs down here. There we go. put something in there, right? And the more you come by and retrace your steps and keep your pencil sharp, you'll be able to go in there and add more depth to the image and take care of some of these really dark areas that really don't need to be there. It's kind of fun to play around and create different things in the dark areas. Alright, pencil work maybe a little bit over there. Something going on there. There we go. We'll put something contrasting color. Now we're just gonna work our way up here. Follow the way, the direction of his hair, and some's going that way. So I'm just gonna copycat what I just did there. Same strokes, just up there. Just gonna transfer. There's one there. Yeah, now I can pull this across. I feel like I'm drawing. There we go. Keep it going. Just follow these lines and let them crisscross and do whatever they gotta do. These are going this way. I messed up. There, I fixed it. There we go. That'll work. So we take where there really isn't anything and kind of see we're sticking something in its place. Something continuing on, pulling this image closer. So think about that whenever you see a big dark area. You can take one of your really light colors. You know, so I was working with blue, I would have got one of my lightest blues and pushed into there. It's going to maintain that gray. And here I'm just staying out of the bright areas right there. Push some of that color back there. Getting into another dark area. So what is this? That's hair. So there. There's a knot here. This one's going this direction. So it's going to be one about right there. One of the hard things is this pencil's got a lot of yellow in it, and it's hard not to go green when you run out over that black. The black's got a lot of blue, so you can really go green quick. But that's where red comes in. If I was to do that, I would probably glaze a little bit of light red over it, and it would probably knock that green out. They cancel each other out pretty much. So something like that right there, you know, keep that going. Now we're just making these definitions right now. So then you probably want to step back and grab something like a dark brown will work. Black would work if you want to go back to black. But let's take this dark brown right here. All right. So I would go to the black areas and pull some of this through some of this right here. And pull up to that next level of gray. And you can start pushing some of this just to give it, you know, some contrast, a little bit of different color. And this is like she got straw hair, comic booky hair, you know. So you just keep going like that, and then you would take like this white, just highlight some areas. What I like to do is I like to bounce, bounce, bounce. Woo! Yep, they got it right. Boy, this AI don't play. When it comes to values, you can almost tell it's AI because it is perfect sometimes. The values, the darks and the lights. It is so perfect. And that's a good way to tell if it's AI or not. You know, you look at something that's like, I don't think somebody could do that. People can do it, but they're not going to do that much level of work. You know, an artist that, let's say, you know, makes their living at a professional artist. They're not going to sit there and create a 50-page coloring book for $9 on Amazon. You know, they put all that time and effort into creating something. They're going to want, you know, which if it's good enough, yeah, I'll pay. You know, that's what I'm saying. But that's why there's a lot of AI art out there, because you're getting such a high, to me, a high quality image to work on and play around. It's nice. So basically, I don't get into too much of that argument. But you can see where I'm going with that. I think that's pretty good with the lesson right there. I think I covered everything. I definitely want to thank Nordic Digital Arts for allowing me to, you know, give me permission. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask or have to ask. I don't know how all that works. I did purchase the picture, and a couple other cool pictures. So it's I just don't know the rules and stuff like that on YouTube, and I don't understand it, you know, just as a cultural thing, because it's such a mixed bag with everybody, you know. But I hope this helps out. There's a little bit of understanding of the shadows and what you can do to get in there and pull stuff out of it. I thought this would be a good image to do that with. And I'm probably going to hop back over on this one and continue my journey on this one, and put this one aside for now. Thank you very much for watching.